I want to welcome back in our all-star political panel, White House correspondent Emerald Robinson. Emerald, I'm on the soapbox right now. Don't get me started this morning. Betsy McCoy, the former lieutenant governor of New York, is with us. Mark Halperin is here, and Amir Benno is back. You know what? You got little kids. You want to give them some Aunt Jemima maple syrup. Emerald, I know your little kids are up right now. It's 7:17 a.m.
Unfortunately, they're not.
They're not up yet? I don't want to be too loud and wake them up. Mark, I know you got a little one around the corner. Amir, the same thing. How about would you put Pearl Milling Company syrup on your waffles or your Eggos?
You're asking me?
The room fell silent. Wait, I think we have the image. Let's show the image so you know what I'm talking about here. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Aunt Jemima is no longer.
They changed the name.
Yeah.
It's the brand you know, the brand you've always loved.
Mama, get me some of that Pearl Milling Company syrup. But that's the name change. So this is the world we live in right now.
Around here we call it PMC.
I like that, the PMC.
So
I don't know how they landed on that. That just happened, and I wanted to share it with you. But
like
that's
the Washington football team.
Exactly. The Washington football team only uses
maple syrup on the Washington football team.
Official. That could have been their Super Bowl commercial.
Right.
It's just completely ridiculous. And I also saw that people are already selling the old bottles of Aunt Jemima on eBay right now, and they're actually selling for quite a bit of money. But we can get into some more serious stuff. The Dallas Mavericks, the NBA basketball team. The NBA is certainly the most woke league. Mark Cuban, Betsy, a billionaire, says they're not going to play the national anthem before games anymore, and they haven't played it for the first 13 games of the season. Your thoughts on the canceling of the national anthem?
Well, that's his constitutional right, and our right as Americans is to stop attending Mavericks games and stop viewing them on television. That's our right to express our patriotism, and then he may reconsider.
Betsy, such a good point. Ratings for the NBA at record low levels last year. But the tradition of this, and Chris Arps is back with us too. Chris, good to see you. The tradition of the national anthem at games, at baseball games, it started with Major League Baseball, was World War I. Because we had so many soldiers dying on foreign battlefields, we decided to honor their memory and honor them by playing the national anthem, and the tradition stuck. That's where it comes from. So to cancel that, I just think that's massively offensive. Emerald, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I guess we'll just have to watch to see if they replace it with the Chinese national anthem. The NBA seems a little more beholden to China than the U.S.
Yeah, well, the Uyghur Muslims make all their jerseys. We know that. Mark, do you think other teams are going to follow suit? That's where this becomes a stickier issue.
Probably some will, although Mark Cuban tends to be a pace setter, and sometimes he runs out ahead of the parade and looks behind him and no one else is there. So we'll have to see. Amir?
I just don't understand for the life of me why they would do it. People are that triggered by the national anthem. We're all Americans. What's the problem with it? Is it? I guess the argument is that it's in some way racist.
Yeah.
Let's take down all the presidents off the schools. Let's take down the national anthem. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I grew up saying that in school. I'm sure all you did as well. It started with that. My daughter is 5. She has no idea how to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Chris, is this something that, I mean, they're already not televising the national anthem, but is this something that you see other leagues maybe adopting as well?
Well, I think one of the reasons why the NBA has adopted this is because, most of their players are African Americans, just like football and baseball, but especially in basketball. Mark Cuban is a businessman, and he knows who his consumers are, which are African Americans. So I think that he does believe in this cause, but I think it's mainly just it's a marketing, and it's also because he doesn't want to tick off the league or his players and keep the fans happy. I think it's really sad that the national anthem has become controversial in our nation. I
want to play a soundbite from former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo talking about the origins of the coronavirus. Now suddenly that's become controversial. It's no longer okay to say that the coronavirus came from China. Take a listen.
I continue to know that there was significant evidence, Bill, that this may well have come from that laboratory.
So nothing has changed in your view that it came from the lab?
Not a thing.
So the bought and paid for World Health Organization came out yesterday with their findings of the origins of coronavirus, and they said that it could have come from another country and made its way into China. Betsy, we'll start with you.
Well, let me point out how little credibility this investigatory team has. The only American on this team is a scientist from the Echo Health Alliance, a nonprofit organization in the U.S. that actually took government money and helped fund the research at the Wuhan Institute, the research into how to make this virus more dangerous. So he has no credibility. He has been arguing since the beginning that the virus could not have come from the Institute, but he's got dirty hands. They should have had independent scientists investigating this, and of course, neither the World Health Organization nor China would permit that.
Yeah, the World Health Organization has been wrong from the start, Mark. It just seems this is just offensive to Americans, and so it's just laughable that they would put this out, and that, you know, we have to report on this kind of thing. And I was looking at how this was being covered yesterday, and it's like, well, wait a second. Yeah, maybe it didn't come from China. It's offensive.
You know, there's a lot of liberal and establishment backlash against Donald Trump's attitude towards the World Health Organization, NATO, et cetera. And I think it would be troubling for America if the Biden administration swings all the way back in the other direction without thinking through what was Donald Trump talking about? What did he represent when he questioned some of the actions of the World Health Organization and some of these other international entities? And I hope the Biden administration thinks that through and doesn't just reflexively go right back into the arms of these organizations that don't always represent the interests of the United States.
Emerald, final thought. They say you're xenophobic if you question it, by the way.
Well, what the WHO said about that was just exactly what China wanted them to say all along, to even say it could have come from another country.
Yeah.
But to what Mark was saying about the Biden administration and the way that they treat China or these international institutions, when it comes to the international institutions, they're running back as fast as they can into these multilateral agreements. So I don't think they're taking any time to reflect on, whatever credibility the Trump administration had in their policies toward these institutions.
I just want to say quickly, so David Schoen is an Orthodox Jew. He was not wearing a yarmulke yesterday while he was presenting President Trump's defense. He didn't want it to be a distraction. And when you eat or drink as an Orthodox Jew, you should be wearing a yarmulke, which is why every time he would take a sip of the water, he would cover his head. But progressive Twitter was kind of all over him yesterday throughout that proceeding. But that's why that took place. So there's the answer to that. Panel, we will see you again in 35 minutes. A great conversation. We got a lot to talk about. We'll get into impeachment again at the top of the hour. Thank you.